Welcome to the Maria Liberati Show, where food meets art, travel, and life. What does food mean to you? Tell me in a recorded soundbite of no longer than 60 seconds or a post of no longer than 50 words. Post it on social media with a hashtag, The Maria Liberati Show, or email it directly to me at maria@marialiberati.com. And if your soundbite or quotes are selected to be part of an upcoming segment, I will send an autographed copy of my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking, to you as special thanks. I love having my listeners be part of the show, so come on, join in. Pizza is more than just a food. It's a passion, a personality, a style, and a food that gained popularity in the USA after World War II when American soldiers became hooked on this stuff while in Italy and just wanted more when they returned home. Here in the USA, we truly have a passion for our pizza, so much so that different regions in the USA have developed their own unique pizza style, just as in Italy where different regions have their own pizza style. New York City, hey, your pizza style and tradition was first started by what was America's first pizzeria that opened up there in Little Italy, Lombardi's. So this is a thin, hand-tossed crust, easy enough to carry and to keep up with the fast pace in New York City. Chicago has its own pizza style that began at the first and original Pizzeria Uno there in Chicago, and that is a thicker, deep dish crust filled with layers of cheeses, meat, or veggies. St. Louis, Missouri pizza style is a thin, unleavened bread for crust. Emo's Pizza was the first pizzeria there. This cracker-like texture is thin and topped with lots of ooey gooey cheeses and served in 2-inch squares. Ohio Valley, they have their own pizza style when it comes to pizza, and that is pizza served in warm 2-inch squares with tomato sauce, but cold grated cheese. Detroit, Michigan's pizza style goes way back to 1946, and this is similar to Chicago style, that it's thicker and deep dish, but has cheese and tomato sauce on top. Not inside like Chicago style, but on top. California, you have your own pizza style, and that was started back in the 80s. It's a thin crust with usually lighter, healthier toppings. New Haven, Connecticut has a thin crust pizza that is chewy inside, and theirs is a plain tomato pie with sauce and Parmigiano Reggiano cheese, or a white pie that is topped with oregano, garlic, mozzarella, and Parmigiano Reggiano. But where is the pizza capital of the United States? Is it New York City? Is it Chicago or Philadelphia, perhaps? If you guessed Old Forge, Pennsylvania, in Lackawanna County, you are correct. Legend has it that in 1926, Gigerelli's, which is now Old Forge Pizza, served pizza to the coal miners there. Specifically, Grandma Gigerelli served the pizza. The pizza is crispy on the bottom, chewy in the center, and there are 2 types of Old Forge pizza, a red and a white. The red has diced onions topped with a blend of cheeses and sauce. The white is stuffed, no sauce, just lots of cheese and other toppings inside. And don't call it a pizza pie if you visit Old Forge, where they also have their own pizza lingo. So a whole pizza is not called a pie, but called a tray. They bake them on square metal trays, and slices are called cuts, not slices. Are you hungry yet? I am. Just in time for my special guest, world pizza champion and pizza ambassador, and so much more, Tony Gemignani.
As I said, I was really excited to get you on. The show's all about pizza today. And I wanted to ask you, because you have such a great career in the pizza field, but which I'm sure you've heard that. You're a 2-time, is it a Guinness World Record holder in the Guinness World Book of World Records? Is that correct?
Yeah, I have 4 world records with Guinness over the years. A couple of them have been broken, I think, in different countries. Yeah, I've done a lot over the years. One in pizza making competitions in Italy. I've won in competitions in the U.S. When it comes to pizza, I don't know if anyone's done more.
Yes, I don't either. Can you tell me, so what got you into, I did read your website and it was really an interesting story, but can you give us kind of a short version of how you got into this world, the pizza world?
Yeah, I was 17, just getting out of high school. Wasn't sure what I was going to do, and a lot of my friends went off to college. And my brother had the idea of opening up a pizzeria. He worked at a couple pizzerias. And he said, "You want to do this with me?" And I wasn't sure what I was going to do, so I ended up doing it, and I really fell in love with it. And that was right when I turned 18. So I've been making pizzas for about 30 years. I was with him for about 17, 18 years at a pizzeria called Paisano's Pizzeria in Castro Valley, California. And then after that, I really wanted to open up and venture off and do something. So I opened up Tony's Pizza Napolitana, over 11 years ago. Over 11 years ago, now. So.
Wow. And you're the U.S. ambassador of the Neapolitan pizza, is that correct?
Yeah, in Naples, they gave 3 ambassadorships. I was one of them, and they gave Spain and Japan. I won in Naples at the World Pizza Cup in Neapolitan pizza. That was in 2007. And when I won that, I was the first non-certified pizza maker to kind of come in to the competition as far as I knew, and then, let alone to win outside of Naples. So it was one of those things that Naples and I have gotten to be very close over the years since that win, and just coming back and working with the flour companies closely and developing flours for them, American flours in Naples. I've done a lot. Judged in Naples. It always goes back to Naples, I guess, for me.
Wow. And in case our listeners don't know, that Naples is kind of the trademark of, they have their own trademark on their pizza. Is that correct? I believe
pizza really, like when you think of, when you think of champagne, coming from, France, or you see different Chianti from the Chianti region, for years and years, they wanted to be recognized. Naples, the Neapolitans or the pizzaiolos wanted to be recognized, saying that if you make this pizza, it should be recognized as true Neapolitan pizza, like a Verace pizza Napolitana. But even went further than that, and they did get accepted, and it was recognized. So, it's important. Yeah.
And can you, yes, that is, yes, and I know that's my favorite place to overdose on pizza. It's just like all pizza, and it's worth it too. But can you tell the listeners, so what's the official Neapolitan pizza? Because I know there is one that is the one that is...
Yeah, the most popular is, of course, pizza margherita. There's also a margherita extra and a marinara pizza. 3 pizzas, like let's just say the margherita, it typically is a 00 refined flour. Typically it's 00, even though they've kind of changed over the recent years to be blending flours now in Naples. Typically it's a San Marzano tomato that's DOP, and it's grown in the region of Campania. So the tomato is very specific. The mozzarella fior di latte, which is cow's milk, or mozzarella di bufala from buffalo milk, could be used on that pizza. Sea salt, no spices in the sauce, olive oil, and then that pizza should be cooked at 900 degrees under 90 seconds in a wood-fired oven that has the classic dome, small mouth dome that you would see that basically burns very, very hot, unlike, let's say, a bread oven that has a bigger mouth or a longer chamber. So there's specific guidelines to it. It has to be stretched by hand, to approximately 11.5 to 12 inches. So there's a lot to it. Typically it's just yeast. A lot of guys are doing bulk ferments, or they're doing starters. It's not traditional to do a starter, but people are doing it. I do it, so.
Yes, whatever makes it work, I guess, whatever way, because not everybody has access to everything all the time that you just said. And that kind of leads to my next question. So with everybody at home, and I always hear everybody's getting takeout, which is fine too, because you can still get takeout, pizza delivery. But if anybody wants to try and make their own, do you have any suggestions for doing something like simply if somebody doesn't have access to all that stuff?
Oh, definitely. Right now, currently, making pizza at home is so popular. People are running out. markets are running out of flour. My little market that I sell, the influx of online delivery sales when it comes to just pizza flour is increased by 100%. It's just, it's insane. So when it comes to making great pizza at home, there's a few things to think about. One is a higher gluten, higher protein flour always bakes better in an oven that's around 500 degrees. Most of our ovens are at 500, 520. And when you're looking at an all-purpose flour, you know, if I were to look at a shelf and I saw, okay, let's say I had King Arthur, there was their all-purpose, or they had their Sir Lancelot, let's say, I would grab the Sir Lancelot. It's a higher protein. It'll brown better. It'll rise better. It's just an all-around better flour when you're cooking at 500 degrees. Also, a browning agent. So using a sugar or a malt, which I use, I like to try to find a low diastatic malt, which you can't find online. I like to use that as a browning agent rather than sugar, because at 500 degrees, you need a little help with browning. Typically, a 00 flour from Naples isn't the right flour to use in a 500-degree oven. Everyone says, hey, I want to grab that flour. It's great. It's what the Neapolitans do. But when you go from 900 degrees in your restaurant and you go to 500 degrees in your home, that flour typically isn't the best for it. So look for a higher protein flour. Look at a browning agent. Keep your dough recipe, instead of doing it same day, I'd rather do it in 24 hours, because any time you use older dough, it's always more digestible. It's always better in flavor. It's more aromatic. And when it comes to digestibility, yeast feeds on simple sugars. The longer you let your feast yeast, the more digestible and that dough will be. So you don't want to make the dough the same day. And I think we all have time right now to probably make dough the day before and they use it the next day. You'll find that the results are better. The other thing is a stone or a steel. If you have a baking stone or steel, typically, when you buy a stone back in the day, it was one stone. And when you're cooking in a restaurant, you have a lot of real estate when you're cooking in an oven. So like if I place my pizza in one spot, I can move it to another spot and crisp up the bottom. In your home oven, you should have two racks, one on the upper level, one on the lower level, and try to invest in another stone or another steel. Put two stones in it, start your pizza on top, go halfway for about 5 minutes, then take it and finish it on the bottom, then out. You'll get a much crispier pizza, a stronger pizza. You'll get a better bake. The bottom will be nice and crispy. So always look at trying to invest in two, not one. And also a good point is to make sure that your finishing ingredients are more than your ingredients that get cooked. Meaning, a lot of times home chefs want to just put everything on and cook it, and they take it out and it's soggy, it's wet. Remember the ingredients like Parmigiano Reggiano or cherry tomatoes or goat cheese or feta. Items like garlic oil, prosciutto, soppressata, those can all go on at the end. So just remember, not everything has to be cooked. You don't have to put the kitchen sink in it. And you'll find that you'll have way better results by just doing a very standardized pizza and finish it with just some great quality ingredients.
Wow, that's great. They're really great tips, and gosh, you made me hungry. I want to go make a pizza now. So I do want people though to be able to find you and hear about what. So can you tell us, like, is there any projects we should look for, or do you want to tell us your website or?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, there's home chefs out there. I wrote the Pizza Bible. Over the years, I've written 3 cookbooks, one children's book and 2 cookbooks, but the children's book actually had some recipes in it. But my most recent book, Pizza Bible, you can find that pretty much everywhere if you're looking to make Detroit-style pizza, St. Louis, Neapolitan, Roman, classic American, all the styles in there with the dough recipes. But some of my restaurants that I have are mostly based in San Francisco and Las Vegas, but I do have some in Sacramento. So I have Tony's Pizza Napolitana, Slice House, Pizza Rock. Those are the main ones, and a couple other places like Capo's. And if you're looking for ingredients, and you're looking for that specific flour, Giovanni's Specialties in San Francisco, we have a little website that my wife and I run the little market that we have, and we ship nationwide. All those home pizza makers actually order a lot. It's crazy right now. There's so much flour being sold. The retail bags are almost out pretty much everywhere, and now you're filling the order out of the 50-pound bags now. It's gotten to be pretty insane. And right now too, there is a shortage of yeast that's happening, and that's another thing that if you go to a store, stock up on yeast, because there's a nationwide shortage in the restaurant industry coming this week, and then it already almost hit the grocery store. So Bye, yeast.
Yeah. Yes. And so I just want to tell, so I know your website is TonyGemignani.com, but the Giovanni Specialties, do they just put in the search engine Giovanni Specialties and the site will come up?
Or GiovanniSpecialties.com, but Tony Gemignani, TonyGemignani.com. If you go to that, you'll see pretty much everything I have. That's all my restaurants and blog that I run and stuff like that.
Yeah, and it's really interesting. I want to tell everybody, you got to go there. If you love pizza, it's definitely a site for you. My last question, Tony, for you, and I ask this to all my guests, what does food mean to you?
Food means everything to me. Food's life, Just growing up, and I grew up on an Italian farm with my grandpa. Our family lived with my grandpa. We had 35 acres, and we farmed, and we almost lived off the land. I mean, when we ran out of basil, I'd run to the backyard, or we'd pick apricots and get fava beans. So, food to me is like my entire life. And it's watching my mom cook was probably the most special times of my life when I came back from school, waiting for my dad to come home from work. And then just sitting at the table with my grandpa with a jug of wine, and the bottom of the table, and he'd, fill his rosé with his rosé and he'd fill his glass, and just remembering that. And every time you cook, you just try and cook and make it as amazing as it was as a child. I think it's special.
Yes.
And that's what I've been doing with my son, is really getting him into food.
That's great.
We have a little garden and we're farming and stuff. So food's very special. Yeah. It's communal, and it's just love.
Yes, thank you for that wonderful memory. That is a special memory. Thank you for that. Tony, thank you so much. Thank you again, and I will let you know when this is online. Hopefully we can get this going. Thanks again. Have a good one. Thank you.
Thanks for joining us and listening to the Maria Liberati Show. If you want to show off your pizza style, take a picture of your homemade pizza. Hashtag the Maria Liberati Show and post the photo on social media. We'll be gathering pictures and posting it on my website. Thanks to my producer, Britton Roselle, and this week's guest, Tony Gemignani of TonyGemignani.com. Go to my website, MariaLiberati.com, to keep up with my blog and the show and my book series, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. And don't forget to post your answer to the question, what does food mean to you, in a recorded soundbite of no longer than 60 seconds or a post in no longer than 50 words, and post it with the hashtag The Maria Liberati Show. Post it on social media or email it to me at maria@marialiberati.com. If your answers are selected for an upcoming podcast segment, you will receive an autographed copy of my book, The Basic Art of Italian Cooking. I'd love to hear from my listeners and have you be part of my show. If you have any questions or ideas for upcoming segments, email me directly at maria@marialiberati.com. Peace, love, and pasta. Until next time.